Hey, how's it going? It's West Draco, back on MW 2019. This is a good match. We're not going to focus on that too much. If I sound a little bit off, I've got my retainer in. Wasn't going to make a video tonight. I was getting ready for bed, but this shit's just pissing me off. Got me thinking, got me wanting to talk. If you're not up to date with US politics and shit like that, if you don't keep up, Jeffrey Epstein was a... Well, we're just jumping into it, but here we go. Jeffrey Epstein was this big billionaire who's super well connected to all sorts of rich and powerful people, famous people all across the world. I mean, this was like when he was in that elite circle. It's like if you needed to get into contact with somebody who you didn't already know, Jeffrey was your guy. I mean, you went to this dude and he'd hook you up with whoever you needed. He was also a huge pedophile, like one of the worst in the world. And he has an infamous little island, or he had. He's dead. He didn't kill himself. And at this island, he would invite a bunch of his billionaire friends, a bunch of his world leaders, a bunch of billionaires, like the elites, the behind-the-scenes guys, and they would solicit activities from minors that were trafficked there. I mean, this is pretty well known now, and it's been brushed under the rug for a long time. The infamous Epstein list is the entire exigence of this entire video. Donald Trump recently, in his 2024 campaign, a big part of his platform was transparency. He was going to release all the MLK files, declassify all the JFK files, and what I think excited a lot of people and fired up a lot of his base, the Epstein list. He said that he would release the Epstein list. He did say that with a caveat. He said that he was going to look at it, and if it didn't ruin anyone's lives, or some shit along those lines, I'm not going to pull up the exact quote, but he basically said that we're going to review it. If there's nothing too damning on there, which is already a little bit sus from the get-go, then they'd release it. Now, I'm not here to just speculate. I'm not going to throw anyone directly under the rug. It's really not my place. I don't know if it matters. But we can hint that it is a little bit sus that he says that we're going to review the list and make sure there's nothing too damning on anyone. And the way he phrased it, he said something... It was something along the lines of misrepresentation. He didn't want anyone... any name on that list to be revealed and they were being misrepresented or something like that. Because, I mean, I'm sure there are people on the list, which does exist. There's no way it does not exist. I'm sure there's people on the list who maybe just knew Epstein, or were just in that sort of elite circle, and didn't necessarily partake in the illegal activities. Now, you could say that even by befriending Epstein, being involved with him, you are compliant, or they were compliant with said activities. But then we're really getting into speculation territory, really just sort of pointing fingers. I don't think that's the fair thing to do, especially in that circle. I mean, you know, because even if you called the guy once to get a hookup for some business deal or some shit, or to get some other famous dude's number, rich dude's number, you're not immediately compliant or complicit with any of the illegal activities that went on in his little island. Anyway, so they said that, yeah, if no one's misrepresented in this list, we'll look into releasing it. And Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, which is essentially, well, not essentially, she is the head of the DOJ. She's the federal head of the Department of Justice. Back in February, she was on a Fox interview in which she said, I've got the list, it's on my desk right now, we're going to be reviewing it, and we will release it. And recently, she was called out for that in some, like, press conference. I don't know exactly what it was. It was some sort of, like, summit style. Trump was there, Marco Rubio was there, she was there, a bunch of the cabinet were there, present, taking questions, and she was brought up on this previous interview, and the guy was like, back in February you said something about you had the list, you were going to release it, and she basically said, it was a sly cop-out. She was like, what I meant there was that we have the file. The file itself was on my desk, and when I meant that, I mean I had the JFK, the MLK, and the Epstein file. There wasn't an actual list. There wasn't a client list, quote-unquote. There is. Trust me, there is. They're lying to you, and they want you to know, or they want you to think that there's not a list. And it's just a blatant insult to the American public and the world as a whole. This Epstein thing's been ongoing since, I think, 2008, 2007, when he pleaded guilty. He pleaded guilty. He wasn't just found guilty. And it's just absurd that they're going to this length over 10 years later, almost 20 years later, to still cover this up. That's how you know it's bad. That's how you know it's deep-rooted. There are powerful people whose names you probably don't even know that are intertwined in this list. I'd put money on it that Trump's in there. I mean, you've seen all the pictures of him. If you haven't, look it up. Donald Trump Epstein. There's probably a damn whole hard drive of catalog on Google and shit. He's definitely on there. It's probably a big reason why we haven't seen the list. Despite him saying, oh yeah, I'll release it. Vote for me, I'll release it. Got me excited during the campaigning. Got a lot of his voters excited. A lot of those same voters who are now upset there is no list, quote unquote. And the cherry on top was the footage they released. The entire point of this footage was to prove that no one had come into contact with Epstein the night that he quote unquote killed himself. He didn't. In doing so, they just showed footage of the cell door, and it was so clearly tampered with. Just prison footage of a cell with a whole minute missing, and there's a clear jump cut. Like, you can literally see the aspect ratio of the footage change from clip to clip. Some ordinary gamers broke down the metadata, and he even shows you how to analyze metadata on your own if you want to. But it wasn't him who proved that, by the way. But people had gone into the metadata and proved it, that it was falsified. So not only were they falsifying video, but they flip-flopped back and forth between, yeah, there's an Epstein list, we're gonna release it. No, I didn't mean that there was actually a list. That was just a broader term for the files on my desk, and there never was a list. There absolutely is a list. And it's just, it's such a huge cover-up, and it's so blatantly obvious. And Trump's been crashing out about it. He crashed out in that interview I talked about earlier where Pam Bondi was questioned about her previous interview, and he was like, why are we still talking about this guy? This Epstein guy? We've got tragedies in Texas, and we've got great success. But we're still talking about this creep? Why? You're wasting time. And listen, I'm not an absolute Trump hater. There's some good, there's some bad. I take the good with the bad. I'm pretty moderate. I don't just lose my mind over everything he does just because he's Trump. Just to be clear on that. But it is pretty eye-opening, and it should be. I'm sure I've lived through cover-ups in my lifetime that I wasn't aware of, or at least that just weren't at this magnitude, but this one's like in your face. They want this covered up so bad, and I hope people keep talking about it so it just serves as like a mosquito buzzing in their ears. Like I said previously, there's probably people so powerful on that list that you don't even know their names. If any action was actually taken, because the US government, the Fed, absolutely has the list, they absolutely have the names, and they absolutely probably have the power to act upon those names. But it will never happen. It probably will never happen, at least. That's all I got, but check out Moist Critical's video, check out Some Ordinary Gamer's video, and thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Never trust the government, always do your independent research, and until next time, take care.